But he's got the big arm. He's been working out of the bullpen. Carlos Villanueva is back. His number's not bad down in the minor leagues this year after he got sent back. Good to have another right-hander available out in that bullpen. Carlos is back. And Matt Gamble, he's been swinging the bat pretty well down in the minor leagues. He's been playing some outfield, so he's going to be used in a lot of different ways. We'll see how much playing time he actually gets.
Yeah, Gamble missed the first couple of months with a shoulder injury that occurred during spring training. And it'll be fun to see those guys play. Not many at-bats available, however. Some big months of August wrapped up yesterday. We'll give you the numbers for Ryan Braun and Casey McGee when we come back.
Walk.
Tonight and every night, our telecast of Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is presented in beautiful high-definition television, courtesy of H.H. Gregg. What about the weather tonight, Tim Hedrick?
I hope you're having as much fun watching these games as I am. I'll tell you what about the last two plays last night? Votto on his knees, rolling with the backhand. Whoo! Oh, yeah, the weather. 88 first pitch, down to about 76 by 11 o'clock. Enjoy the game with Tom and Chris, everybody.
Yeah. Timmy's on a roll.
He is on a roll. I kind of like that a lot. Yeah, we're enjoying the games, Tim. We're going to enjoy Johnny Cueto throwing the ball tonight, too. When he's on, he is lights out. Friday against the Cubs, he was on. No walks, 8 punch-outs. He allowed only 1 run in those 8 innings. And I'll tell you what, when Johnny Cueto lays back on his back leg and gives himself time to gather all together in his delivery, he can be one of the best pitchers in this league. When he starts flying open, he's going to need some defense. And the Reds laid it on him last night. Joey Votto with a play, maybe the play of the year right there. We'll see it one more time as he goes across the runner, picked by the shortstop Giannis, and then the backhand by Roland to end the game. I said it last night, I'll say it again, Tom Brenneman. It's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball perform the way they did defensively last night.
Wow, dropping some Globetrotters on us. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks, 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili. Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Reds have taken the field on this beautiful night for baseball in Cincinnati. Reds and the Brewers wrapping up this series, and the Reds wrapping up this homestand and trying to finish it 5-1. Ken Macha's starting lineup presented by Cincinnati Bell. Weeks, Hart, and Braun at the top. Fielder McGee, Lorenzo Cain back in there in center field. He didn't play last night. And a latter third of Escobar back at short. Lucroy behind the plate. Left-hander Chris Narveson on the mound. Johnny Cueto gunning for 13 wins. He's lost only 4 times.
Well, he's awfully tough on righties. Cueto is holding them to a batting average in the low 220s. He's got a tight slider, and he's really been using that a lot recently and using his legs for his fastball. So you combine all that together, you hope that he's able to duplicate what he did in his last start against the Chicago Cubs, which is essentially shut them down.
Ricky Weeks, a second baseman, digging in. First pitch fastball in there. Steer right one, and this one underway. Todd Tischenoy, the home plate umpire. Gary Cedarstrom at first. Ed Hickox at second, and Field and Culbreth, the umpire, at third. 0-1 to Weeks. And he dribbles one up the third base line, foul, and Cueto quickly ahead at 0-2. The Reds a season high 22 games over 500, 77 and 55. As we mentioned a moment ago, that's tied for the best record in the entire National League. The Atlanta Braves share the same record. San Diego 76 and 55. They've lost 6 in a row. And the Padres are underway, wrapping up their series in Arizona. Breaking ball away. Atlanta, meanwhile, will play in just a few minutes from now, hosting the New York Mets. One hopper right back to Cueto, and that's easy. 1 out. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. The Reds ranked first in the National League in fielding percentage. Dome, Stubbs, and again Heise in the outfield. Roland, Giannis, Cairo back in the lineup for the first time in over a week. Joey Votto at first, the battery of Cueto and Ramon Hernandez. Cairo's been bothered by a tender hamstring. Was able to come in and pinch hit last night. And tonight starts in place of Chris Valleca, who's been starting, of course, in place of Brandon Phillips. Phillips very much hoping, along with Orlando Cabrera, both to be back as part of the Reds' starting middle infield Friday night. 1-1 to Corey Hart.
Boy, Johnny throwing hard tonight, coming right out of the chute, throwing 94 and 95 miles an hour.
Breaking ball away to even things on Hart, a .280 batter, 23 home runs and 80 runs batted in.
Now, they've handled Hart in this series. He's 1 for 10, and he hasn't even touched the ball on the outer part of the plate.
Well, he tried to go out there again with a breaking ball, but too far low and away. So 3-2 on Hart with Ryan Braun to follow. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday night. Reds will be traveling to St. Louis tomorrow, play there over the weekend, and then on to Denver, Colorado. That one lined right at Johnny Gomes for out number 2. That one little patch of sunshine. He nearly got caught up in right there with the ball on its way to the middle.
Ball over the middle of the plate. That's why Corey Hart puts a good swing on it. A sinking line drive. And you're right, Tom. That little beam of sunlight comes right through one of the stairwells in the upper deck here at Great American Ballpark. This time of year, the sun doesn't bother you nearly as much as it did earlier back in June and July. Boy, that is about the toughest left field in all of baseball.
That's really reminiscent when you talk about the sun, the direction of the sun, where you are in April, where you are in July, where you are in September. With the way our producer times out the lead up to the first pitch of the game. Who needs a stopwatch when you have a sundial?
I like that theory.
Yeah.
Never breaks, except on a cloudy day. What does he do when it's raining?
2-0 to Ryan Braun. In there, a strike, took a little off the good fastball. It's 2-1 to Braun, who checks in at .303, 19 home runs and 80 runs batted in.
Well, Johnny's got a regular fastball, as I said, 94, 95 tonight. That one that comes in at 90 and 91, kind of a little bit of a cutter.
That one at 94 in underneath his hands to go to 2-2. Just off the inside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes. See, Cueto by and large has had his way with Ryan Braun, now trying to put him away. On a ground ball to Giannis. That took a high hop on him, and a nice job by Giannis to stay with him. A perfect first for Cueto. Here come the Reds. Ask the announcers, so submit your questions to foxsportsohio.com. Presented by Fox Sports Ohio High School Football Game of the Week. Another one coming your way tomorrow night. And we'll be answering questions throughout the entire game, so get them in ASAP. Reds lineup presented by Cincinnati Bell. Stubbs, Heisey, and Votto at the top. Roland, Gomes, Hernandez in the middle. Miguel Cairo back in the lineup at second base tonight. Paul Giannis at short. Johnny Cueto on the mound. And Chris Narveson starts it for Milwaukee.
Well, he's a big-time winner. He's won 10 ball games already for this ball club, and that's pretty good considering their overall record. 10-7, Narveson is. Got an average fastball, likes to pitch it up. Good curveball. He's had a lot of problems in the first inning, and Johnny Cueto ought to be aware that he can swing the bat a little bit.
A 10-game winner is Narveson, despite that ERA of up over 5.5. League is batting .286 against him in his 130 1/3 innings. Oh, and 2 to Drew Stubbs, and it's outside and low. The leadoff spot in the first inning for the Reds on this homestand has been perfect. Bruce walked the first game. Bruce walked the second game. Stubbs doubled the third game. Bruce homered the fourth game. Stubbs walked in the fifth game. And that streak may come to an end tonight. It will. Milwaukee on defense, presented by Ford. A spectacular play 2 nights ago, made by the center fielder Lorenzo Cain. Escobar back at short, joining fielder Weeks and McGee in the infield, and again Lucroy behind the plate. Big night tonight up in the broadcast booth. We'll be telling you about how you can get playoff tickets should the Reds reach the postseason. More information on that will come from Phil Castellini. And Scott Arniel, the new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets of the NFL, will be coming up to the booth. NHL. There they both play in the fall. Hit off the end of the bat. 1 ball and 1 strike. They'll be taking on the Chicago Bears, the second game of the year. Down and in on Chris Heisey. 2 balls and a strike. Chris at 263, 7 home runs, 14 batted in. Lifts a fly ball Cain's way and straight away center field. And this will be out number 2. So 2 down for Joey Votto, and he takes low and in. 0-1. Votto at 327, 32 home runs, 97 runs batted in. 4 of 5 in his career against Narveson with a home run. Votto going into play tonight is the league leader in batting average, 1 point better than Carlos Gonzalez of Colorado. He's 3rd in home runs, 3 behind Albert Pujols, and is the league leader in runs batted in with 97. And the Cardinals just completed sweep at the hands of the Houston Astros. Albert went the entire series without a hit. 1-2 to Votto, swung on and fouled away. Of course, they weren't pitching to him in big situations when they didn't have to. They just intentionally walk him. But I believe Pujols in that 3-game series went 0 for 10. Two down and nobody on. 1-2 to Votto. And he rolls over to the first baseman fielder, and that's a routine 1-2-3 inning for Narveson. We go to the second of a scoreless game. Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK. Ohio, the Triple Crown categories we were talking about. Joey Votto v. Albert Pujols. They had a very interesting article written in the St. Louis Dispatch today about the MVP race between these two players, and most people feel like, Chris, it's either one or the other. Nobody else really even in the running. And as you brought up last night, the point was made by the columnist that, you know, if the Reds win the division and the Cardinals don't even get in the playoffs, that Votto would, in his opinion, be the guy that would win the award, unless Albert Pujols would have won the Triple Crown. Base hit into left field. And then, of course, all bets are off.
Well, they usually give the edge to the guy who plays on the team that wins it. And I'm not so sure that Albert has to win the Triple Crown. I mean, if all of a sudden he goes off, he had a great month of August, Albert Pujols did, and if he has a continued month of August and overshadows everybody else, including Joey Votto, you may have to give him the nod.
Yep.
But, I think, Joey Votto is very genuine when he says, you know what, I don't even think about those numbers, those accolades. I'm thinking about this team winning. And I really believe that he sincerely means that. And he'll let the numbers take care of themselves and the votes take care of themselves.
And you know what? The other guy says the same thing, and I think he's just as sincere.
I absolutely believe that, too.
Leadoff hit by fielder Casey McGee lifts a fly ball high into the sky in short left field. Giannis will call off the charging Gomes for out number 1. We'll take the Reds with you on the road this year by subscribing to MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Of course, Johnny Cueto, as Chris mentioned, coming off an outstanding game against Chicago over the weekend. 8 innings of 6-hit, 1-run baseball, struck out 8, did not walk a batter in that Reds 7-1 win. And that was on the heels of a start in Los Angeles where nothing went his way. That was after the 7-game suspension for the on-field incident with St. Louis back on August the 10th. So he went 11 full days without pitching, and he looked like it. Was wild, fell behind hitters, had a high pitch count, lasted just 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs. But he had a long side session with pitching coach Brian Price to work out some mechanical flaws. And Jeff Brantley told the story that after watching that bullpen session, Cueto turned around and hugged Brian Price as if to say, thanks, I needed the help.
It's amazing, though, Tom, when you get at this level of pitching, it doesn't take much to throw you out of whack, and it doesn't take much to get you right back on track. It takes a trained eye like Brian Price to find out, and he knows his pitchers very well, to know what that little thing might be. I mean, he worked with Francisco Cordero not too long ago and noticed that he was keeping a lot of his weight when he came to his balance point on his heel. So you got to transfer that weight a little bit to the ball of your feet, get better balance. And it made a difference with Cordero and his control recently. And I think the same thing goes with the starting pitcher.
Two and two on Lorenzo Cain, and again it's in the air. This one to short center field, and Cairo is there for out number 2. So after Fielder started things in the inning with a base hit into left field, Cueto is taking care of McGee and Cain and has Escobar to go to get back to the dugout. First pitch fastball at 93 miles per hour at the belt, a called strike.
When you start getting pop-ups in the infield, hitters think they're right on that pitch, but they are a hair late. That's why they're popping it straight up.
Cueto walking back behind the rubber and gathering his thoughts. He falls behind Escobar, 2 balls and a strike. And now Cueto ready to go. Fastball in, 3-1.
Got a shot of Prince Fielder and Joey Votto. What do you think that conversation's about down there?
What do you think?
how tough it is to get a ticket to the NL All-Star game at first baseman?
And you ain't lying about that.
You're not kidding.
Three and two on Escobar. Votto will back up behind. Fielder over there at first as he'll get started on the payoff pitch with 2 away in the inning. Cueto ready, and here it comes. In the air, short left field. Johnny coming on. He won't get there. Fielder will go first to third. Here's a throw, and he is out at third base. Johnny comes up throwing right on the money. Well, you know the drill. For Reds player hits one of the Toyota signs in left center or right center. In our game tonight, Ray Dunlap of Mooresville, North Carolina, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win in an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Pleasure to be joined, as we mentioned earlier, by Scott Arniel, the new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. You look like such a young guy. I mean, to have this kind of job. First of all, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
You played in the league for a long, long time, but what, a second-round pick initially, right?
Yeah.
And you've been coaching minor league hockey for the last number of years. Now you get the shot. Obviously, you feel like you're ready for this job.
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, it's just like when you're a player, when you get your name called at the draft and you get to play your first game. Now I've got all those butterflies again going into the NHL again, but this time being a coach.
You know, you told me a cool story right in between innings. I was asking you about, what part of Columbus you're living in. You have a family. And you were saying that your oldest son is rolling, bangs one again down the left field line. Scotty coming off a night where he had 2 doubles in the game last night and doubles his first time up tonight. Is it coincidence, or was it already a done deal that your son is going to play hockey at Ohio State this year?
Yeah, you know what? He's had a few teams talking to him, and he was talking to Ohio State prior to me interviewing for the job. And then once I got the job, I kind of took the decision out of his hand. It became a no-brainer.
Very nice.
We're going to stay close together. So, no, it's fabulous. My wife is excited, and we all are.
Now, the team this year, you were saying you're getting started in just a few days, about a week from now, with your rookies and the veterans come in, right?
Yeah, the rookies are coming in on the 8th, and then the veterans will be in on the 17th, and 8 exhibition games, and then we're doing a little something different. We're heading to Sweden and opening the season against San Jose in Sweden on the, I believe that's we're looking at the 8th and 9th.
Have you been to Sweden?
No, I've been to Europe, different places, but I've never been to Sweden. Heard a lot of great things about it.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
You like the idea of starting out? Because baseball teams have done it before, and some liked it, and some thought, man, we're going over there, and the time difference, and so on and so forth. You're cool with it, though, right?
Yeah, you know what? They started with exhibition games, and then the last few years they've started regular season, and they've really allowed some time. When we come home, we're done home on the Sunday. We don't open up against Chicago at home until the following Friday. So we get acclimated again, get back there, get that jet lag out of us.
Very nice. Swinging a foul ball out of play. Now, 2 years ago was the first time the Blue Jackets had ever been in the playoffs. Last year, didn't make it. This year, how do you like your team?
You know what? I like our team. We got a lot of players that were real upset about what happened last year, and I think you know what? It's amazing. We got right now. We've another 2 weeks to go. We've got almost everybody in camp right here in Columbus skating, getting themselves in shape. That doesn't always happen, and I can tell these guys are chomping at the bit. And I like our team. It's a young team. It's one of the reasons I took the job. I think they got great upside, just scratching the surface, and hopefully that playoff thing becomes a yearly thing, year to year.
All right, Scott, now you had a couple of your players, actually 4 of your players out today shagging balls during the Reds batting practice. You went out through the first pitch. Take us through the first pitch. A little preparation. What happened? Who do you have here today?
You know what? We got like Jared Bowl, Derek Dorsett, Matthew Garon, Steve Mason. There's, I think it was Garon grabbing that one. So, yeah, a few guys here. So a few guys, and obviously it was a great moment for them. They got the shag balls. For myself going up there to throw the first pitch, I've done a lot of things in my career. I was so nervous all afternoon. I was throwing some balls this morning at the hockey rink in one of their goalie catcher's gloves, but all I cared about was that I hit the glove and I didn't bounce it in there.
You did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
You warmed up nicely. We had a brand new player just called up today, actually, Yonder Alonso, and a real good prospect for the Reds catching up there, and you look good out there.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Like I said, a ton of nerves.
Take us through it.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, he was crowding the plate a little bit, so I wanted to brush him back. But no, like I said, I'm just glad I got it in there. So it's a good feeling when it crosses that plate.
Biggest challenge for you this year with the Blue Jackets?
Well, for me, it'll be really getting to know the players. I've known them now personally off the ice. Now I got to really get a feel for what everybody can do. Everybody's looking for that new chance, to show all these new coaches, to show us what they can do. So it's starting over for a lot of them, and it's going to take 8 exhibition games, and hopefully by the time that first game in Sweden starts, I got a real good feel for it.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, you're right. It will.
And of course, the home opener in Columbus will be against the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. That'll be at Nationwide Arena Friday, October the 15th. Single game tickets for all home games go on sale Friday, September the 17th. But for that opening game, you can log on to BlueJackets.com, call 1-800-NHL-COLS for more information. And the Blue Jackets have many, many different season ticket packages available. The 6-pack, 10 games, 20 games, as well as preseason single game tickets are all on sale right now. So I know for many of you, you're probably jumping on the horn or logging onto the internet right now to get dialed in. That'll be exciting, opening against the Blackhawks. They've lost some guys from that team.
Yeah, they've had a little bit of a changeover. Obviously, with the salary cap issues that we have, they had to make some changes, and which is good for us, bad for them. But that's a big rivalry, big divisional opponent, and nothing better than beating the defending champs in an opening night in our building.
And by the way, Fox Sports Ohio is very excited to announce that there will be a new program this season, Blue Jackets Slap Shots, premiering on Monday, October the 11th at 6 o'clock, a 30-minute show hosted by Ray Crawford. And you'll have a chance to revisit the top moments of the Blue Jackets' previous week. A week in review show, if you will, that'll take place during the entire year. We're very proud to call the Columbus Blue Jackets our home here on Fox Sports Ohio. It's amazing how TV, no matter what the sport, has changed the game in so many ways through the years, isn't it?
It certainly has. It's it's great. You can, no matter where you are, you can catch any kind of game, any kind of sport, and it's fantastic.
No score, runner at second, 1 out. Ramon Hernandez a swing and a miss, and that's out number 2 in the inning.
Now, Scott, you were a baseball fan growing up right outside of Toronto, halfway between Toronto and Montreal, but big Expo fan.
Yeah, you know what? My dad played a lot of ball, and I played as a kid, my brother. But every summer we used to go up on a vacation. We'd head up to Montreal, and we'd always go to Jerry Park and catch an Expos game. So I obviously grew up. And like I said earlier, that 94 season, I thought that was the year finally. And they had some great teams over the years, some great players. And guys went on strike and kind of blew that one away.
Well, they kind of traded them away one by one, didn't they?
And it wasn't the same when it went into the Olympic Stadium. That obviously was a little different ballpark.
You know, I'm kind of curious, Scott. When you get back home and you get around Montreal, because obviously the game still takes you there, Do they miss baseball to talk about baseball much?
They still do. Yeah, they really do. Yuppie is still now, he's a mascot at the Montreal Canadiens game.
Is that right?
He's very popular. But no, you know what? It was tough times when they lost the team. But yeah, you know what? It was awfully big. And you know what? It's too bad because it still is popular in Canada. And obviously the Jays now have sort of become that new team. But it was great when we had two teams.
We're wishing you nothing but the best, sir.
Well, thanks for
coming up tonight.
Appreciate it. This has been an absolute thrill for me.
Good.
And my jersey is now going to be on my office at the arena. So
we're going to come see you this
Okay, please.
I got to ask you about the jersey. You got number 11. You know, that's a famous for Cincinnati Red. Barry Larkin, he's in there.
Yeah, you know what? And I actually, when I got asked, well, what number do you want? I wore number 11 as a hockey player. And actually, everybody thought because Scott Housen put 10, it looks like 2010-11 or next season. But I did find out Larkin, which even makes it better. So, nope, it's going to go up on the wall. I'm going to get it framed, and I got my ball, and yeah, I'm pumped. So,
hey, congratulations on getting this opportunity.
Okay, thanks so much, fellas. Thanks for having me. All right, guys.
Good seeing you, Scott.
Hopefully, we listen to you all the way to the World Series.
Amen. We'll come up and see you this season, hopefully all the way to the Stanley Cup.
All right, great.
Really enjoyed our visit tonight with Scott Arniel, the new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And again, we'll give you the ticket information on how you can pick up your tickets, whether it be a partial season, a full season ticket plan at Nationwide Arena in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Reds have 2-1, 2 out, no score. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Paul Giannis batter. He had a good game here last night. After struggling most of the homestand, Giannis 2 out of 4. An RBI double and scored a run. And there you have it. BlueJackets.com or call 1-800-NHL-COLS. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Chris, you and I are going to go up there one night.
Absolutely. I was up there last year.
Were you?
Saw the Red Wings play one night. It's a great place to watch a hockey match. Really outstanding. Come on up.
Ground ball down to third. That's easy for McGee, and the Reds strand 2 in the second inning. Did you happen to see this guy, Rick Nash, last year?
What a player. I wish he would have scored that night. They wouldn't have gone to triple overtime.
You called him Graham.
I thought it was everything I'd hoped it would be, and it was everything I'd hoped it would be. And I think it was the same thing. I think everybody can say that. From upstairs or downstairs to the fans and everybody. That was about as electric a start as I've ever seen since I've been in ball.
And Dusty been around for a long, long time as a player, a coach, and a manager. And that's our Geico Direct quote of the game. All right, Chris, here we go. John in Mainville wants to know, do you think Chapman can continue to throw 100 miles per hour without injuring his arm?
That's a $30 million question right there because, those guys that throw that hard, they push the physical envelope right to the edge. But looking at his delivery, watching him in spring training, watching him last night, I mean, he's got a nice smooth arm action, smooth delivery. He doesn't show any reason for me that he's on the verge of blowing his arm out. But usually you can only tell bad deliveries and shoulder injuries. Elbow injuries, they pop up for no reason at all, at least from what I can tell. That may be better directed at Dr. Tim Kremchek, but I think right now, if they didn't think that he could stay healthy, they wouldn't assign him to that kind of money. And the one thing that they did do before they signed Aroldis Chapman is they got him in, they MRI'd his arm, they took every look that they possibly could, and in the words of Dr. Tim Kremchek, his elbow and arm is pristine because he's only been pitching for about 4 or 5 years. So he's a young man that's got a lot of innings left in that arm before he goes down.
2-1 the count on Jonathan Lucroy. 269 batter. And a sharp ground ball, but to the glove side for Giannis. 1 away. All right, this one to Chris from Tanner in Bowling Green. Which is harder to hit, Chris, a very good fastball or a very good knuckleball? Boy, that's a good question.
I couldn't hit either, but I'll tell you, if you ask real good hitters, they'll probably say the knuckleball because there's no way to practice for it. Hitters spend all winter long, all spring long, trying to speed their swings up, get their reaction time to the point where they can hit a good fastball. Now, that's a good fastball, not a great fastball, not a fastball like Aroldis Chapman. But I think knuckleballs, if you throw it right, and I played with Charlie Huff for a year down in Texas with the Texas Rangers, and I'll tell you what, he made some real good hitters look awfully bad.
1-1 of the pitcher Narveson, who can hit. He has 12 hits and 39 at bats with 6 runs batted in.
Back-to-back nights for the Brewers where they're sending out some lanzadores who can pull a little bit. A lanzador is Spanish for pitcher. And pull is another way of saying hit.
And 2 the count on Narveson. And a fastball runs up and away from him. 2-2 with 1 out, nobody on in a scoreless game here in the top of the 3rd. Well, the humidity has been way down. It's been hot during the daytime. But man, when that sun starts drifting down into the western sky, these nights have just been spectacular. And we understand we have one more warm day tomorrow, and then the highs beginning on Friday are like 80 degrees. Here you look at the pitchers with the highest batting averages in the National League. Mike Leake, number 1. Dan Herron won't move off 352. He's now with the Angels. He accumulated those numbers before his trade away from Arizona. One on and fouled back out of play. Lined into center field, a base hit by Narveson. Boy, that's a nice stroke.
Nice at bat, boy. He got down in the strike count, 1 ball to 2 strikes, and Johnny Cueto tried to make him chase a couple of fastballs, tried to bury a slider down the dirt. He didn't chase that, and he finally got one he could get the fat part of the bat on.
Well, Kyle from Helena, Montana would like to know, Tom, what's your most memorable broadcasting moment? Well, there have been a lot of them. Kyle, probably the 2001 World Series. And I don't mean just a particular moment. Without getting long-winded, when you think about what happened on 9/11 in this country of 2001, and then the team I was announcing for, the Arizona Diamondbacks, played the Yankees in that World Series roughly a month later, and everything that had gone on in the country, and in particular in New York, we had a chance to visit Ground Zero, and this is still when the smoke and ashes were still rising from where the World Trade Center towers were, and to be down there and part of a 7-game World Series, which was just spectacular. It was an honor and a privilege just to be a part of that whole thing. But thank you for your question. And of course, this was the final swing of the bat in that World Series. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Bottom of the 9th inning, and a home team in a 7th game of a World Series wins it on a base hit.
How loud was that place that night?
The 9th inning, the 8th inning was the strangest thing, and you almost wondered if it was in the stars or meant to be that something strange or something special was going to happen that night, because it actually started raining and the wind was blowing and the swirling winds in the 8th inning. It rarely ever rains in Arizona, period. It never rains from September until about February. And all of a sudden, for about 5 minutes in the 8th inning that night, the winds kicked up, a light rain fell, and you're thinking, what's going on here? Straightaway center field, but not deep enough for Ricky Weeks. Stubbs in front of the wall for out number 2. You know, last night was the first time, was reminiscent to me. You know, we're talking about the 2001 World Series, and I said it to you at the time when we were in commercial break. One of the most unbelievable moments of that World Series, people on television didn't see it, but in the 9th inning, Randy Johnson came in from the bullpen to get the final 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning with Arizona down a run. Johnson had already won 2 games in that World Series. Schilling started the game. And when Johnson came out of the bullpen in the 9th inning, 54,000 people just erupted all at one time. And last night, obviously, on a much smaller scale, it wasn't a World Series game. It wasn't in October. But when Chapman came out of the bullpen, I hearken back to that very moment when Johnson, another tall, lanky, hard-throwing left-hander, walked out of that bullpen at Bank One Ballpark. The crowd reaction, identical. Man, was that something last night. Not going to forget about that anytime soon. Short one hopper at Cairo, inning over. Base hit by the pitcher. He's stranded at first, middle to third. Still no score. That dream at Reds Fantasy Camp. That's in Goodyear, Arizona. February the 5th through February the 12th, 2011. For more information, visit Reds.com/fantasycamp. Chris will be there again.
I will indeed. Looking forward to it already. Always a good time. In fact, that might be about the first activity down in Goodyear at the Red Spring Training Facility. Oh, they have the fall ball down there, of course. Unfortunately, the Arizona Reds fell to the Arizona Brewers last night in the championship of the Arizona League. The Summer League play, they had a slugfest, 10-8. They were on the short end of that, but we still congratulate the Arizona Goodyear Reds, managed by Julio Garcia. Tom Browning, pitching coach, did a great job down there all summer long. Despite the heat that during the day would get up to 115 degrees, I'll tell you what, these guys played outdoors every evening. And that's not an easy thing to do. Remember, where the Diamondbacks play is all air conditioned. Talk about motivation to get out of the minor leagues. Nothing better than that.
Johnny Cueto to lead things off against Narveson. Shows bunt, pulls the bat away, and that's a strike. Although, you know, I wonder, and you would know this, you wouldn't know about playing in Arizona in the summertime, but I almost wonder. You know, you spent a lot of your life in Florida. That one's shot down the right field line by Cueto. Billy Hatcher telling him, stay right there, son. So each pitcher with a base hit tonight.
So Johnny Cueto not known for swinging the bat, but he's up there. You know, I think with the addition of Mike Leake, Travis Wood handles a bat. Bronson Arroyo's got 7 runs batted in this year. There's a little pressure on Johnny Cueto. And he's up there hacking. Boy, he's going to want that Foxmo shot in his personal archive. Good swing.
I was getting ready to ask you, do you think on a summer night playing in the Florida State League, hotter there or hotter in Arizona? I don't mean temperature hot. I'm talking about...
Feels like.
Yeah, feels like hot.
Probably Florida State League. Although I only played a couple of weeks in the Florida State League. That was in April. It wasn't too bad. But the humidity never leaves you there. And it cools down the desert at night a little bit. Gets down to about 95.
Yeah, you just don't have, obviously, that humidity like you do in Florida.
You know, I'm going to ask Tom Browning that question when he gets back.
Well, we have a question from Phoenix. Chris, what do you expect the rotation to be in the postseason if, of course, the Reds reach a postseason?
That's a very good question right there. I got to get the feeling that it's almost a pitch-off between a couple of these guys between now and the end of the year.
Roller down to third. They'll get the lead runner. No throw to try and double up Stubbs. 1 out in the inning.
I think 3 guys that are probably in that rotation would have to be Bronson Arroyo, Johnny Cueto, and in my book, Travis Wood. But I think the way that Homer Bailey stepped back, the question marks surrounding Aaron Harang, whether he's going to be able to give you what you need, and Edinson Volquez. I mean, 2 of those 3 guys are going to be in the rotation, or maybe only 1 of those 3 guys may be in the rotation, because you don't need 5 when you're in postseason. You really only need 3 or 4.
Yeah, you're going to need a 4th sooner or later. A 5th probably not, but you'd be hard-pressed to find any team that has used only 3 starters and lasted very long into a postseason using only 3. In fact, I cannot remember the last time that has been done. You've got to go way back.
I think the Yankees did it last year, did they not?
Oh, but they had the unique situation where, because the way they restructured the playoffs last year, I think they did for the first 2 rounds. Didn't they need another one in the final round?
I have to look it up. But yeah, let's assume they use 4 and not 5. But I think it's going to be an ongoing audition, really. And maybe Travis Wood is in that mix between now and the end of the year to see who's got the hot hand.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Arroyo and Cueto are locks. Man, there's not even debate about that. Those 2 are in. But everybody else, I think you bring up a great point. Some might be saying, Chris, well, what do you mean Edinson Volquez? He's not even on a major league team right now. But he is getting back into starting mode, pitching in Dayton, and will continue to do so. Stubbs nearly picked off were it not for a poor throw by Narveson. He was running on that pitch.
He was, and he was very fortunate to get back. That would be the first pickoff of the year for this Brewer pitcher. He's not easy to steal off of. He's only given up 7 stolen bases. They have thrown out 6.
0-1 the count on Heisey, who flied out to center his first time up. Check swing, he went around. Jay Bruce not in the starting lineup last night because of a sore right side, and not in there tonight. Boy, he's swinging a bat better than he has his entire major league career right now, and that's not an exaggeration. Over the last 3.5 weeks, he has never been better. But you hope another off day, Chris, tomorrow, and he's ready to roll on Friday night.
He was awfully good when he first came on the scene, Tom. But if you go back and really look at those base hits he had, a lot of those were bloopers that found the hole and balls that would hit the bag and so on. He's hitting the ball so much harder now. Last 10 ball games, 5 home runs. Off of left-handers, hitting the ball the other way. And that's a real sign. And I really think that it has something to do with him being, more than a year now removed from that broken wrist that he sustained at Citi Field in New York, diving for a ball out in right field.
But those numbers go a lot further back than just the last 10 games for Bruce. I mean, during the month of August, he hit .333. He had 18 home runs and knocked in 17. And you trim off a couple of bad games at the beginning of the month. Over the last 3.5 weeks, Bruce is better than a .400 batter. Two and two on Heisey. Harvison taking a lot of time getting things together out there before this 2-2 pitch. And here it comes. Low and away. Good eye by Heisey. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Stubbs out at second, inning over. We played 3 and we are scoreless.
Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark. By JTM, food, family, fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. and by GMC. We are professional grade. All knotted at 0 on the banks of the Ohio River. The last of 3, Reds and Brewers. A couple of people brought brooms to the ballpark tonight, hoping to see a Reds sweep. How sweet would that be on the way to a big series in St. Louis? Although maybe not as big as people thought it once would be. What do you think, Tom?
I'm right with you, big boy. There's a roller up the third base line, foul. You know, I just run the fast break right alongside you. If you want to give up the ball, I'll try and lay it in. If you want to take it to the rack and just throw it down, so be it.
I kind of like that. For a change.
0-1 the count on Braun to be followed by Fielder and then McGee. And a fastball from Cueto on the inside corner. Braun bounced out to Giannis his first time up. No runs, 3 hits, 2 men left for Milwaukee. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men stranded for the Reds. Grounded foul, and Cueto still ahead of Braun at 0-2. Cueto a long look in, too long for Ryan Braun's liking. Braun right back in there, and Cueto set to go. The 0-2 delivery. Got him swinging on a breaking ball away. First strikeout of the night for Johnny Cueto.
Nice looking slider right there, set up by the fastball. Way down and out of the strike zone. Tell you what, Ryan Braun was on fire when he came into this 3-game series. Reds have kind of handled him.
He's had a couple of hits in each of the first 2 games of the series, but they have been singles. He had a single and scored a run in the 5th inning last night. He had a run-scoring single in the first game of the series, but you're right, by and large very quiet as far as extra base hits are concerned or major damage, and generally it seems like every time the Brewers come to town they have guys that are hitting the ball in the seats pretty regularly. They have that kind of lineup to do that not only here but everywhere. Fielder, a fly ball to short center. Stubbs has it. The first 2 are gone in the 4th inning. Time now for a AT&T trivia question for tonight. In the Reds' last playoff year of 1995, who led the team in runs batted in? And this was a guy that I recall vividly. You know, every year a lot of the publications, when you get to the All-Star break, you know, they'll pick a first-half Cy Young, a first-half MVP, a first-half Rookie of the Year. This guy was on pace to just have a year like nobody's business. He ended up having a good year, but it looked like he was going to have just a spectacular year.
I want to say he was probably an outfielder.
You would be correct. And his first name started with R.
Really?
Now, wait a minute. There's some people that'll remember that team. They had 2 outfielders whose first name started with R, and both were pretty doggone good. They batted back-to-back in that lineup, if you remember. One of them came from their own farm system. The other one they paid for a year, and he didn't play in a game. Popped up into foul territory. Votto is there, and right through Braun, Fielder, and McGee without a loud noise. Sure to follow your team with the Reds social media clubhouse at Reds.com. Chris, you're big on all this stuff.
I like it.
Facebook, texting, you know what I mean, Twittering. You can follow Mike Leake on Twitter. Log on to Reds.com/connect to get started today. Joey Votto to lead things off against Narveson. Scoreless game, bottom of the 4th inning. And a big swing and a miss. Votto grounded out to fielder, ending the 1st inning. Arizona has rallied again against San Diego. Padres had a 2-1 lead. Arizona bats in the 7th inning with a 5-2 lead. The Padres in danger of losing their 7th consecutive game.
Panic City.
But they still have a 4-game lead over the Giants, despite it all. And the Giants, talk about a pitching matchup. How about tonight? Ubaldo Jimenez taking on Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, both of those who are studs of the rotation are really scuffling lately. Jimenez still looking for win number 18.
And they don't know how to explain Lincecum. I mean, he has not even been hit. He has been hit hard for over a month. Re-into Votto. And a breaking ball away from him is the first walk of the night by Narveson. He has hit about. All right, let's answer a AT&T trivia question. Chris, you got a guess?
You know, you give me the R's, and I would say Ron Gant and Reggie Sanders. I'll go with Reggie Sanders.
You'd be right.
He faded a little bit in the 2nd half.
And, of course, Reggie and Gant had a mighty tough time in that league championship series.
When you talk about pitching to a scouting report, those Braves pitchers do nothing but fastballs up and in to Reggie Sanders that entire series, and he couldn't have hit him with a tennis racket.
A couple of big birthday wishes go out tonight. Betty Dusing celebrating her 89th birthday next week. Her granddaughter Amy, son Paul, friend Dan at the game tonight. And they brought her along. And if Votto gets a hit, we understand that Betty yells, "Atta boy, Joey." So Betty, happy birthday. And tomorrow, Emerson Fall will turn 90 years young. Born in 1920. Makes his home out at Berkeley Square in Hamilton, Ohio. As Rolen is hit by a pitch. So the Reds have the first 2 on with nobody out. Emerson Fall, happy birthday tomorrow, young man. We should all be so blessed and fortunate. 89 and 90. Still going strong. Two on now for Johnny. He flied out to left field his first time up. Gomes, a big night last night, and you're hoping that kicks him back into gear. And a 2-run home run to right field. Votto and Rolen aboard with nobody out. The breaking ball stays high.
Going the other way last night. You know, he went the other way the time before that. Thinking Giovanni Gallardo was going to drop some curveballs on him. The only way you're going to make contact is go the other way. Maybe a little different philosophy here against a left-hander. Narveson's fastball has a tendency to cut into a righty as breaking ball goes in. So you can clear those hips and wail away.
Pulled a string on him there on a 2-0 pitch. Johnny thinking fastball and didn't get it.
Don't hurt yourself.
2-1 to Johnny. Reds trying to jump in front here in the bottom of the 4th inning. He had a good rip there to fastball, and Johnny smacks ahead of that bat with the right hand. He'd like to have that one back. They're playing the music from that old show, Green Acres. Remember that?
Of course I do.
It's a
Why
place
would they play that for Johnny Gomes?
I don't know, but brought back some memories. Capper foul down to 3rd. Well, Chris, what would be your music if you were coming up to bat? You know, players get to pick what song they like to play as they come to the plate. Well, you probably like something from like Culture Club.
I'm probably a little more Death Cab for Cutie.
Taking high, 3-2. What is that? Is that like a Teletubby song or something? What is it?
It's just like a Teletubby song, yeah. And yours?
I don't know. I don't think about it. I want to make sure I get the right one. Probably something Culture Club, you know, something like that.
Toss it between that and Boy George.
Swing and miss.
He was eventually going to get the off-speed pitch. He went 2-0, Narvison did, and Johnny Gomes had 2 good cuts at fastballs. And then he got that changeup.
Ramon Hernandez, he has been very good in these situations this year. 42 runs batted in, and he's been a little more than a half-time player, if you will. He and Ryan Hannigan have pretty much shared the catching duties. Hernandez getting a few more starts, although Ramon was on the DL, so too was Hannigan at one point in time.
You know, Tom, it's interesting. We talk to a lot of scouts. They're up here at the media level every night. They eat up here with the broadcasters and the writers and so on. And a lot of these guys I've played with or played against. And, you know, the guys that have seen Hernandez play over the last few years in Baltimore and then see him play this year, they say, remark, what a difference. That in Baltimore, he'd give you a good game and a bad game and a good game and a bad game, and they really weren't sure what to write in their report. This year, every time he takes the field, it looks like he's playing like Johnny Gomes, like his last game. I mean, he's grinding it out, and it shows. He's having a great year because of that, and he's really helped the Reds.
On the inside corner, borderline call there, but Todd Tishner, the home plate umpire, says strike 2.
Hey, one thing about Narvison, you know, I'm not going to compare him to Travis Wood, but he's got similar arm action, real quick. I mean, he's throwing that fastball at 89 and is getting right on the hitters. So they're not picking it up very well.
2-2 on Hernandez with 2 on and 1 out. And he takes low ball 3. All right, would you? 1 out?
Let him loose? Yeah. You know why? Good contact hitter. And he's smart enough with 2 strikes to spread his speed a little bit, shorten his swing, know he's got to make contact. He'll try to pump that ball out in the right field somewhere.
Yeah, Votto the lead runner, Roland the trail runner, and Scotty getting a big lead, not held on over there by Fielder. And Narvison curious as to whether or not they would get started.
That's a real good idea right there.
Two on, 1 out, 3 balls, 2 strikes in a scoreless game. Runners are not going, and Hernandez lifts a fly ball in the right. Runners will stay put as Hart makes a catch. And now the Reds need a 2-out hit from Miguel Cairo after putting the first 2 on in the inning. pep talk out there on the mound from the catcher Jonathan Lucroy to Chris Narveson before he faces Cairo, who was hit by a pitch his only at bat tonight, only plate appearance tonight. Cairo, however, much like Ramon Hernandez, has frequently delivered big 2-out base hits this year for the Reds. And he gets another chance here. Fastball right down the middle of strike. And of course, the Reds are a team that have gotten 2-out hits up and down their lineup and up and down their roster. They have 263 RBIs with 2 men out in an inning. That's the most among all National League teams. A ball and a strike. Votto walked to begin the inning, went to second when Rolen was hit by a pitch, but since then Narveson has gotten down to business, fanning Gomes and getting Hernandez on a fly ball to right. Just off the outside corner, 2-1 on Miguel Cairo. Cairo disagreed with that call.
Well, you can see that fastball, though, cut across the plate. It's almost like a breaking pitch. He throws a kind of a crossfire. You watch how he steps across his body. Narveson does, and that ball starts middle and then ends up on the inside corner. Nothing straight about it.
2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a ground ball to hold it short. And Escobar fires a P to the second baseman, Weeks for the force out, and that'll end the inning. Reds miss a chance. They strand 2. Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers are donating the truck to a local fire department. That'll be Saturday, September 11th. 8 local fire departments will join Dusty Baker for the ceremonies on the field before the game, where one of those crews will win the Tundra. Compliments of your local Toyota dealers. It's very, very nice. And you know they need it. All right, scoreless game at the end of 4. The Brewers have Lorenzo Cain, Alcides Escobar, and Jonathan Lucroy against Johnny Cueto. Cain showing bunt. And it misses outside, ball 1.
Good speed does not bunt very much, though. Kind of like Drew Stubbs really will show bunt from time to time, but he's not had too many to his credit.
Jumped all over that pitch, but it's foul. Came back with a breaking ball low, and Kane ahead in the count of 2 balls and a strike. That play he made, I still can't believe it, on Monday night.
You talk about Lorenzo Kane.
Yeah.
Running into the wall in left center field. I mean, almost knocking him unconscious and stayed in the ball game. We got it ready for you. Look at it again.
It's in real speed here now.
Man, man.
And he stayed in the game.
You know what? And I wasn't happy to see him make the catch. Great try. Glad to see he didn't get hurt. Because you want young talent like this in the major league so you can come out in the ballpark and watch it.
Two and two on Kane, and right through Cueto's legs.
Better hurry.
Tyro able to get it there, but a half a step late. That went right between Cueto's legs.
We've seen that happen a fair amount because Johnny really falls off to the first base side there. And a lot of power pitchers do. A wicket ball.
On Escobar. That is ruled, by the way, base hit for Kane. You got to keep an eye on him. 5 steals in 6 attempts since being brought up from the minor leagues. He started this season all the way down in Double-A. Was bumped up by the time the Southern League All-Star game came around. He was selected to play in it, but by that time he had been moved up a level. Showing bunt and pulling the bat away is Escobar. 1 ball and 1 strike. Leadoff man aboard in this scoreless game, and Cueto's going to keep an eye on the speedy Kane. Kane in the minor leagues has had stolen base seasons of 34, 24, 25. He did not start playing baseball until he was almost 16 years old in Madison County, Florida. So he's not been playing very long. Not a highly touted prospect. He played collegiately at Tallahassee Community College and was a 17th round draft choice in 2004.
So, you know, they bring some speedsters out of the TCC. That's where Ryan Friel went to junior college. He set the state, in fact, the national junior college record for stolen bases as a catcher before they finally converted him to a different position.
1-2 on Escobar, and that's just off the inside edge. 2-2.
One of my old minor league roommates, Mike McLeod, runs a program down there at Tallahassee Community College.
Break-even pitch. Will they start the runner on 2-2? Cueto thinks maybe.
Johnny paying a lot of attention to it, doesn't he?
A nothing game. Got to keep an eye on those guys that like to run and aren't afraid to run. And Kane's got a pretty good lead over there. Now Cueto again will back off the rubber.
I don't know whether he's a little upset with he and Hernandez not being able to get together on the pitch call.
He went around. That's strike 3. In fact, it got a piece of his back and lands in the middle of Hernandez. Second strikeout tonight for Johnny Cueto.
Good biting fastball to inner part of the plate. Boy, this ball's got some wicked movement. Johnny has not pitched in too many games like this. For the most part, when he takes them out, the Reds get him a lot of run support. But he's now in a situation where you get a speedster at first base. You've got to keep him close.
Now Lucroy, the number 8 hitter, takes the first pitch, breaking ball low. Lucroy grounded to Giannis in the 3rd inning. For those of you just joining us, St. Louis lost again today, swept in a 3-game series in Houston. And so the Reds, with a win tonight, could add yet another game to their lead in the National League Central Division. A victory would put them 8 games in front of St. Louis. It's hard to believe after the Cardinals came in here and swept the Reds. That was 2 weeks ago today. 3 weeks ago today, I beg your pardon. That put St. Louis 1 game in front in the standings. There has been an 8-game swing. An 8-game swing in 3 weeks of baseball. You could go through an entire year, doesn't matter whether it's April, May, June, July, August, September, you would have a hard time finding an 8-game swing between the top 2 teams in a division. Chris, you might have to go back a long time to find that over a 3-week stretch. Lucroy down, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You take a look at what the Cardinals have done. I mean, not only have they kind of dropped way back in the division race, but they're 5 games back now in the wild card. In fact, they're dead even with 5 games back with the Colorado Rockies. Reds will be in Denver to take them on for 4 straight next week. They'll be fighting the 4 too. That will not be an easy series.
Right. 1 on, 1 out, 1-2 on Lucroy, and Cueto will back off the rubber. The COO of the Cincinnati Reds, kind enough to stop by, Mr. Phil Castellini. How are you, young man?
Gentlemen, I'm great, and you?
It's nice to see you.
I love the number 8, by the way.
It's a good number.
It's a great number. We hope to see it by the end of this game.
Great number in Reds lore. The retired number of one Joe Morgan, who now, of course, is back in the fold in the Reds family as part of our organization. You know, you always feel a little funny talking about this kind of thing because the Reds aren't officially in the postseason yet, right?
I tell you what, it has been interesting because you don't want to jinx it, but it's starting to get exciting. The reality is you have to get this far ahead of the plan. So no matter what you do, you got to get ahead of it. You can't be printing up and sending out tickets to season ticket holders and everybody else the day before a first playoff game. So it is something that you have to get ahead of, and so that's what we've done. And kind of part of the news today is that you've sent out our season ticket holders and package holders have gotten their information about how they can get season tickets, the postseason season tickets as a benefit that they have for being season ticket holders. But after that, we've got a lottery that will register for other fans trying to buy individual tickets, and you'll get an opportunity to win a chance to purchase a playoff ticket, hopefully. Again, hopefully we go, and hopefully you get a chance to buy it.
And the place it all begins is you go to Reds.com.
Absolutely.
But if for some reason there are some folks out there that, maybe their computer's not working, they don't have access to a computer, they don't have a computer, as the runner goes, Roland will backhand and play the first for the second out of the inning. You can always do it the old-fashioned way and just call up on the telephone, right?
That's right. And that's 381 Reds in the 513 area code.
All right, so that's postseason tickets. And again, reds.com. You can navigate your way there. It'll be very easy to find, or call 381-REDS, area code 513-381-REDS. All right.
Right. And you know what, Tom? The long-term message is I hope we have this problem for many years to come.
Indeed.
And the answer to how you guarantee yourself playoff tickets is buy season tickets.
And you can still do that now for the final home games remaining this year.
You betcha.
We talked about that.
Good idea there.
On the last road trip.
But back to our reality, we have the balance of the regular season to finish off. And that includes packing Major League Ballpark here, Great American Ballpark, for the balance of our home games. And we got an exciting weekend coming up, our next homestand. And as you know, we are going to celebrate on September 11th, not only the patriotic holiday that it is and the remembrance of an awful situation in New York, but Peter Edward Rose had a very special occasion that day, and we've gotten special permission to honor him on his 25th anniversary. It's going to be a special night.
How hard was it to get permission from Major League Baseball and Bud Selig to honor Pete Rose?
The commissioner was very generous in what he's done for the Reds, and I think it was a matter of a couple conversations, and really at the end of the day, we can't control what Pete did off the field, but we can control celebrating what he did on the field, and that's our only intent here as an organization, is to celebrate something that's as big as the game itself, an accomplishment that is worthy of recognition, and you know what, our goal isn't to get on stage and debate all the rest of it. Our goal is to celebrate an accomplishment on the field over a long career.
Well, meanwhile, Chris Narveson, we saw Giovanni Gallardo last night reach base 3 times with a couple of hits and a walk, and now Narveson is 2 for 2 and knocks in the game's first run on a base hit into left field. So 1-0 Milwaukee here in the 5th. And again, that is Saturday, September 11th. I don't know if you've had time to sit down and crunch numbers as to what time some of the ceremonies will take place before the game. Do you have any of that information?
We have. You know, we had a pretty full program already, and Toyota has been a great sponsor. And the Toyota dealers, we've had the Toyota Tundra up there. Mm-hmm. Now, let's face reality. In that first year, it was almost mathematically impossible to hit that truck where it sits, and it was given away in that first year. And as you know, the last 2 years we've had the signs in 2 different locations. We've had a couple balls get close, but nobody hit them. And so what these guys came up with is a way to celebrate 9/11 in the role that firefighters, in specific firefighters on the East Coast and in New York had in that day's events. There are 8 firefighter units around Greater Cincinnati, kind of connected to each of the dealerships, and then 2 other ones, including Cincinnati and 1 other, that have been included in the opportunity for one of those firehouses to win the Toyota Tundra off that elevator shaft. And so that day, we will also have all those firehouses present. Dusty Baker's going to spin a wheel, and we're going to find out that day who wins the truck.
It's awesome for the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers to be so generous with that. So there'll be a lot going on. There'll be that on the field before the game and a ceremony honoring Pete Rose. And
in addition to other, patriotic type things, we're going to have some Navy SEALs in the house as well, and a group event going on for them. And it should be noted that some fans out there might be saying, hey, if you give that truck away on the 11th, what happens if somebody hits it between now and then or after then? And the answer is they'll give another truck away, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. I was wondering the same thing, because we just talked about that right before you got here, that they were going to be doing that on that particular date. And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. We still have a chance for somebody to hit it.
Right.
Which they might. Visit to the mound by Brian Price. One thing I forgot to ask you about. For the playoff tickets, we know the season ticket holders that currently are season ticket holders, they have the right immediately to then buy playoffs, and they're going to get playoff tickets if they choose to get them, if they choose to buy them. those that can still sign up for season tickets for the remainder of this year are guaranteed that. What if you're not a season ticket holder? You said that's going to be in a lottery, so to speak?
Correct. All right. So you've had a chance to register online. And if you remember, we do that on opening day as well. For those, again, that don't sell through our season packages, you can register in a lottery for the chance to buy those tickets. And that's effectively how we're handling the balance of the tickets that we have.
All right. Well, Cueto's got to get out of this inning. He had a runner at second with 2 men out in a scoreless game. And Narveson banged one into left field to drive in the game's first run. Weeks follows with a walk. And now it's Corey Harden. Well, it's so exciting to be talking about postseason tickets. That's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line. It really is.
On the 1st of September. I mean, it's one thing talking about them, very late in the year. What if you're a couple of games up or you're a couple of games back? And if this happens, you're in the postseason. But, I mean, some of these pretty respected baseball sites, Baseball Prospectus, for instance, has rated the Reds' chances of the playoffs at above 95% right now. That's pretty good. Well, I know you don't want to jinx things.
I hear you, but let me tell you what. This is a game of momentum. And what I'm most excited about is this is a team that is climbing the hill, not falling down.
You're right.
And they are playing smart, good baseball. The bats are up. The young guys that have come up to fill in have all produced. And the thing I'm most excited about is the fact that these guys are playing seemingly better and better baseball every day. And every team I've ever followed into and through the playoffs is absolutely the way that happens. You don't play your worst ball at the end of the year. When you're playing your best ball at the end of the year, that's when magic happens. And that's what we hope to get here.
Those teams also have a guy who's an MVP candidate. You've got one in Joey Votto, don't you?
And I got to tell you, that excitement we had here last night with Chapman, I'll tell you what, it was electric here in the ballpark. I know you guys felt it, and the fans that were here did as well. And the fact that we're going to have some of that magic for the balance of the year is pretty exciting.
The next homestand begins on September the 10th. That'll be a Friday night. The Pirates come in, followed by a 4-game series against Arizona. But again, we will remember 9/11. We will also give away a new Toyota Tundra to a local fire department. And we will have Pete Rose at the ballpark celebrating the 25th anniversary of his record-breaking base hit at the old ballpark over at Riverfront Stadium. Straight away center field. Stubbs backing up. He'll have room. The Brewers get a run. Philip, thank you very much, sir.
Gentlemen, thank you.
All righty. Here it was off Eric Schau. September the 11th, 25 years ago. The Reds trail here, middle of the 5th, 1-0. Cold hard blast. We remember this one of the longest home runs Brandon Phillips has ever hit. A grand slam the last time the Reds in Milwaukee. Up around the slide of Bernie Brewer. That was a blast. Well, the Reds have some work to do tonight. They're trailing 1-0 against Chris Narveson. A 10-game winner, but an ERA of up over 5.5 coming into the game tonight. Fouled back out of play. 0-2 to Paul Yanich. Two and two, the honest shall be followed by Johnny Cueto and then Drew Stubbs. Little bleeder into right center field, and Hart got a good jump on it. He'll run it down for the first out of the inning. All right, Chris, Dave from Fairlawn, Ohio would like to know, which team do you not want to face in the playoffs? You start thinking about that kind of thing now.
Philadelphia. I can say that very quickly. I mean, they were the team that beat the Reds 4 games straight right before the All-Star break. And they reloaded and got even more players before the end of July. Roy Oswalt pitching a great game today. He's been untouchable since coming over the Phillies. And you talk about a pretty potent top of the rotation and a ball club that can be very explosive. I'd rather see them later in the playoffs, if at all.
Tapper to short. And Escobar throws out Johnny, and they're 2 up and 2 down here in the Reds' 5th inning.
Johnny's had some long innings out there, kind of laboring with the pitch count. Meanwhile, Chris Narveson's on the verge of having a very quick 1, 2, 3, 5th inning and sending Johnny Cueto right back on out there.
Cueto coming off a 32-pitch inning, up over 90 for the game. And he's hoping to have a little bit of time to catch his breath. That's not going to happen. Wow. I mean, as quick can get. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds.
Toe that slab again tonight, and this place will be electric. We want to know in the future, though, what's going to happen. It's our Meyer textbook question of the night. Where do you see Aroldis Chapman in the future on this Reds team? Do you see him as a possible closer or a starting pitcher? Text 1 for closer, 2 for starting pitcher. Text your votes to 37664. Standard text message rates apply. Our results coming up. As far as next season goes, in the starting rotation, you can book it. Tom.
All righty, Jimbo. Everybody jumping on board. A neck-and-neck race right now. What do you think about that, Chris?
You know, when they first signed him, I thought it would be a no-brainer that you got to make him a starter. And I still think you make him a starter. But I don't think you rush him into it. I think the way the Reds handled it this year was terrific. He got plenty of repetitions as a starter, got some innings built up, learned how to throw some of his secondary pitches. Now where he can help the ball club the most is obviously out of the bullpen. And then if he takes the same route as David Price of the Tampa Bay Rays, then so be it. You know, remember, Price was the postseason hero for the Rays a couple of years ago. Then the following spring, he didn't even make the team out of spring training, went back to the minor leagues, learned how to be a starter, and now he's one of the most dominant pitchers in the American League. But it would be tempting to leave him in there as the late man, wouldn't it?
Fly ball into right field, and that's easy for Heisey. 1 out.
Coming in there blowing gas at 104, 103. Easy gas. You know, being Aroldis Chapman and throwing that hard, it's kind of like being the fastest guy in the world. You're right, because he's the fastest pitcher.
Yep.
So it's like being Usain Bolt. It's the same thing.
That was a quote from Aroldis Chapman for Bronson Arroyo after the game.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I didn't know who that was. So when I read it, I had no idea what he was talking about.
I think you can make a lot more money by throwing a baseball that fast than running that fast, though.
There is no debate about that. See, I know some of the people at home right now. I can't see you, but I can hear you. You're nodding your head. All right. I'm guilty, too. When I read the quote, I had no idea what Bronson Arroyo was talking about when he used that. Now I know it's a name. But when I read that, I'm thinking, did something happen that I don't know about in the world? Because I like to read up on what's going on in some other areas that I find a lot more interesting, and track and field generally is not part of that equation. But
I mean, it's pretty mainstream.
Well, perhaps it is. But I know there's some other people. I know you're out there. I know. I feel you. I feel you.
I hear your others laughing, though.
There are others laughing, too. That's right. Of course, those are those that have been hiking in the Himalayas for about the 4.5 years now. They just got back. Where is he from? Oh, now see. Now you,
wait a minute.
I want to say. Hold on a second. We're not talking about a lot of depth here now.
He's from the Caribbean, either Bermuda or.
Okay. Well, all the guys snickering, I could ask them the same thing, all right?
Well, I mean,
and they'd say, okay, I heard of him, but I have no idea where he's from.
I want to say he's from the Caribbean.
Mainstream would be knowing where he's from. The very, very famous of the famous of the famous. You know at least where they're from.
I mean, at least I can identify the name with the sport, and he is the fastest man in the world.
And I'm admitting I didn't know it. 1-1 to McGee. And rolling up off his knees to throw out McGee, and that'll end the inning.
Man, is he automatic. Wow.
All right. Heisey, Votto, Rowland coming up. Reds down 1-0. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. Johnny Gomes. The tag on the throw to get Prince Fielder. And that is the Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. To Heisey. Reds have to find a way to get something, anything going here. They only have 2 hits in the game. And we understand that Aroldis Chapman, there he is, up and throwing in a Cincinnati bullpen. That's why you heard the crowd applauding loudly there a moment ago when they put it up on the big screen. Johnny Cueto already at 107 pitches, and Heisey an easy out. He's 0 for 3 tonight, has struck out twice.
Boy, Narvison is carving his lineup up like he really knows what he's doing out there.
Now, who owns that Pink Princess backpack out of the bullpen? I believe they're making Mike Leake walking around with that thing, aren't they?
Well, Mike Leake's not out in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Well, Leake is now. It was on Drusick earlier. It's kind of the baseball's version of hazing. A very mild thing to do to the young reliever. You make him walk out to the bullpen with it on, and of course he'll get a ration from the fans that he sees. The Logan Ondrusek carrying it that time. It's full of bubble gum, sunflower seeds. So all the guys in the bullpen can pass the time and have a little fun at the same time.
What a play by Weeks on a rocket one-hopper with a lot of topspin off the bat of Votto. That is one nice play by Ricky Weeks.
This ball hit the ground and it exploded. Boy, does he hit the ball hard.
But when all is said and done, there are 2 out with nobody on. Scott Rowland doubled down the left field line in the second inning, was hit by a pitch in the fourth. The only other Reds hit is off the bat of Johnny Cueto, who singled up the right field line leading off the third inning. 1-2 to Rolen. Two now on Rolen. And that'll do it in the Reds' sixth inning. Boy, Narveson just dominating the Reds here tonight. Still a 1-0 game. It's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. And by Wendy's, you know when it's real. Well, for a second consecutive night, we get a look at the 22-year-old Cuban who made his major league debut, just mesmerizing the crowd here last night. In a 1-2-3 eighth inning. Topping out at 103 miles per hour on the radar gun.
It'll be an interesting time to see what he does tonight. I mean, the bottom line is what he does in the scoreboard. It really, you know, it's more or less a circus look to see how fast he actually throws. But it'll be interesting to see back-to-back nights now. He had so much adrenaline pumping last night. I mean, everybody in the ballpark, it was just electric here. Now, everybody in the ballpark here, at least in the lower section, are all on their feet. I mean, this is still a very special moment, but it will be interesting to see where he touches on the gun and if he'll be able to use them in back-to-back nights like this. Of course, Dusty Baker putting him in a 1-0 ball game here, a lot tighter than last night.
Lorenzo Cain digging in. First pitch fastball at the knees, and like his first pitch as a major leaguer last night, clocked at 98 miles per hour.
Yeah, he can't be the easiest guy to umpire either.
3 right-handed hitters coming up: Cain, Escobar, and Lucroy. Tapper, boy, rolling. Man, you said it, he is automatic. And Cain jumping on a 102-mile-per-hour fastball there. Rolen is something.
Boy, can he pick it.
I'm sure like many of you, no matter where you went today, either you brought it up or somebody else around you brought it up about Chapman making his debut. I went over to the elementary school this morning where our kids go, and there must have been 7 or 8 moms that made the comment about it this morning and then later this afternoon. I got 3 text messages from Los Angeles. Friends out there staying up just to watch Chapman come into a game. Wow. There's a slider we saw last night. And it's 0-2 on Escobar. Oh, and 2 on Escobar. And here it comes. Foul away. Cameras all over the ballpark last night. And there's that slider again. Wow.
Boy, this is a slider that you do not see very often. That looks like a Randy Johnson slider right there. Drops it right on the back right foot of the hitter at close to 90 miles an hour. You know how many kids want to throw their fastball at 90 miles an hour? And they work out for years to try to get to that point and never reach it. And here this kid's throwing a slider that hard with minimal effort.
Now Lucroy with 2 down and nobody on, and Chapman going to work on the third base edge of the rubber. One gun says 103. Our gun says 104. 104. I mean, are you kidding me?
That's the fastest in the big leagues this year. Got an email earlier today that listed all the players and the pitchers and the fastest pitches thrown in the big leagues. And Aroldis Chapman last night threw one, according to Major League Baseball, at 102.7. Well, he blew that right by that tonight.
8 pitches, 7 of them strikes. Those were his final numbers in the appearance last night. Take a little off at 89. Here comes the gas. Of course, for Lucroy, this is the second time in as many games he's faced him. He struck out last night on a slider.
You know, interesting move by Dusty Baker putting him in this ball game. Close game, but last night he threw to Ryan Hanigan. Tonight he gets to throw to Ramon Hernandez. If you don't put him in tonight and he gets a day off and you catch Hanigan on Friday, you're not sure when Hernandez will get to catch him. So it's a good move to get both catchers a little familiar with him.
Two on Lucroy. Slide PCLA.
Oh, my goodness.
6 batters. Has retired all 6 with 3 strikeouts. and he's getting it done. That's Chris Narveson on the mound and at the plate. He's knocked in a game's only run.
He's got 2 of the 5 hits the Brewers have gotten. That's the one that punched the run in right there against Johnny Cueto, who did not pitch a bad ball game himself. 6 innings of 1-run baseball, but Narveson out there to pitch the bottom of the 7th, trying to protect the slimmest of all leads.
Here we go. Johnny Gomes, Ramon Hernandez, Miguel Cairo.
What do you think of Aroldis Chapman? What do you think Aroldis Chapman is thinking? He comes off the mound like that. Like, is there a higher league somewhere? Maybe not as hard as I thought.
I don't know. When you're blessed with that kind of talent, man, you better do everything in the world you can to maximize it and don't let a shred of it get away. Because, man, he is one gifted cat.
A couple of runs may get him a W right here.
And I bet you that's exactly what he's thinking about. Be nice to get a big league win. For that to happen, obviously, Reds need to get a couple of runs and then nail it down in this inning. Although there is no activity in the Reds bullpen, at least what we can see right now, which would tell you, after throwing 8 pitches last night and 11 tonight, he may go back out there again for the 8th inning. Gomes out of there on strikes, and that is 6 of them for Narveson tonight. We can celebrate the beginning of the school year and show your school spirit with the Reds. For the remainder of this 2010 regular season, all students can purchase half-price tickets for selected seating areas at Reds home games. Purchase student tickets at the ballpark ticket windows or by logging on to Reds.com/students. Great way to enjoy a ball game. One out for Ramon Hernandez. Reds down 1-0. We're in the 7th.
Hey, Reds fans, for great food with family and friends this summer, think JTM. Food, family, fun, JTM.
Rio to Hernandez, and that's ball 4, so the tying run is aboard with 1 out here in the Reds 7th. That is his 2nd walk issued by Narveson. He's also hit a couple of batters. He hit Cairo in the 2nd, walked Votto in the 4th, and hit Rolen behind him. And that was the last man to reach base until this 1-out walk to Hernandez here in the 7th inning.
And Ken Maka's coming out. Looks like he's going to make a pitching change. A couple of bullpenners down there. Todd Coffey being one of them, the right-hander.
And that's going to do it for Narveson. Wow, after being reluctant to go to that bullpen. We've seen this before. Todd Coffey sprinting in, our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Baseball. It'll be Joey Votto and the Reds taking on Albert and the Cardinals. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Gillette returns this week at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Again, a reminder, we will be on Fox Sports Ohio Friday night and again on Sunday afternoon. But check your local listings for the local Fox network station in your area. It's a good look, that Lynn. Brandon Phillips comes on a pinch run for Ramon Hernandez. The Reds made a couple of roster moves with the rosters expanding here in the month of September. They now have a third catcher up in Corky Miller. They brought up the #1 pick from 2 years ago, Yonder Alonso, big slugging first baseman, left-handed batter, and Carlos Fisher. But Todd Coffey on the mound.
What that does, Tom, is just give Dusty Baker many more options for pinch hitters. If he wants to play a percentage, go lefty versus righty, he can do that much easier now than ever before. But he'll stay with Cairo here.
We might see Yonder Alonso if we get to that #9 spot in the batting order here tonight in this inning.
Or we may see Juan Francisco.
Cairo digging in with 1 on and 1 out. And he smokes one into left center field, and this baby is going to the wall. It'll tie the game. Brandon Phillips will score, and it's 1-1.
Now that didn't take long for the Reds to tie it up right there. The first batter that Todd Coffey faces. And he throws a fastball right in the hot zone. I mean, Miguel Cairo is all over it. And he splits the seam in left center field and drives a run in and heads up on second base himself. Well, look at Brandon Phillips go.
Now Paul Yanish with a go-ahead run out at second base here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And it's ball 1 low. Brandon Phillips, by the way, by scoring that run, has taken over the league lead in that category. He has 1 more than Albert Pujols, and of course Brandon has not been playing at all for a week, except for pinch running. But every time they put him into pinch run, he scores. And that's not an exaggeration. One and 0 to Yanish. And a ground ball back up through the middle, and Escobar dives. Throws to third, and Cairo sidesteps the tag. He had overrun the bag, and McGee whiffed.
Man, oh man, you talk about just escaping right there. Not a good play by Cairo at all. And it's a super idea by Alcinos Escobar, and he just avoids the tag. Casey McGee falling all over himself trying to put that tag on him. Thunk.
So Ryan Hannigan is going to be the one to come up and bat against Todd Coffey rather than a left-handed batter. And really what's going on here is, you know, Dusty Baker is saying, okay, would I rather have this particular right-handed batter against this right-handed pitcher, or one of my left-handed batters against a left-hander who would come on from the bullpen? Now, you know what? You consider that, you know, Juan Francisco is a rookie, prone to the strikeout, here with a runner at third and less than 2 men out. If you thought about Alonso, it'd be his first big league at bat. This is a very good decision.
Well, The difference, though, Tom, when you expand your rosters is that you can burn hitters a lot easier. Once you bring a pitcher in, he's got to face a batter, but you can flip-flop a right-handed hitter for a left-handed hitter, then they bring in a left-handed pitcher, and you can bring a right-handed hitter right back up there. So you've got hitters to burn like you don't have when you have a normal 25-man roster. But I just think he likes this matchup. I think that Brian Hannigan has come through a lot. I don't think that Lance Nixon is available at all. Right? But you've got other guys on the bench, left-handers like Francisco, Yonder Alonso.
Yeah, Nix, of course, yesterday went on the disabled list when they were able to bring Chapman up.
But you've got Valleca on the bench.
Yep. All right, bottom line is they have the go-ahead run at third base after the infield hit by Giannis. And Hannigan takes low and in, ball one. And Hannigan generally is a guy that you can pretty much count on will put the ball in play. Now, he bounced into a big double play the other night with the bases loaded, but those results have been few and far between for Hannigan. He is generally not the kind of guy that is going to swing and miss and strike out, especially in this kind of situation. 2-0. Chapman with a 1-2-3 top of the seventh inning. And if the Reds can push across this run, he would be in line for his first major league win. Foul ball, he broke his bat. Coffey hit the spot where his catcher Lucroy was set up.
Yeah, when you see that index finger kind of being swirled around down there, that's an indication that they want the sinking fastball from Coffey. A two-seamer that's designed to go down and into a right-hander so that Hannigan will hopefully roll over on it and hit it down into the third baseman.
Lucroy taking a long look into his dugout. Saw that sign to throw over from Lucroy. Go ahead, run at third. They're on the corners with one out, 2-1 on Ryan Hannigan. In the air, left field. Oh, baby! 3-run, big fly. Hannigan gets finished high-fiving everybody. He's going to get a curtain call.
I mean, that is a spinner of a breaking ball, and he is all over it. Boy, we don't see Ryan Hannigan hit the ball that far. This ball went into the upper deck and then bounced back onto the field. What a wallop. Wow.
plate hitters reach base. All 4 score. And now Mike McClendon on from the bullpen.
Well, Ken Maka was in such a hurry to go out there and get his starter, Chris Narveson. It took no time at all to tie the ball game up. And all of a sudden, the Brewers are down by 3, and the Reds have done it again. Mike McClendon comes in the ball game, and Narveson, a lot of work for naught.
Aroldis Chapman has a chance tonight in his second major league game to get his first major league win. He had a 1-2-3 7th inning, striking out the final 2 batters in the inning. Off the outside corner, 3-1 on Drew Stubbs. Todd Coffey does not retire a batter and gives up the 3-run home run to Hannigan. Reds, of course, have the best record in all of Major League Baseball during the month of August. 19 wins against just 8 losses. They have the second best record in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. Only Minnesota has been better. And that is only because Minnesota has played 2 more games. They've lost the same number of games. But this Reds team, man, oh man, oh man. 3 weeks ago today, the Cardinals defeated Bronson Arroyo on a Wednesday afternoon to pull off a 3-game sweep. Everybody and his brother across America said the Cardinals will take off and the Reds are all but dead. Well, nobody down in that clubhouse believed it, because ever since then, the Reds are 13-4, and they have gained 8 games in the National League Central. They've gone from 1 down, and with a win here tonight, they would have a 9-game swing and be 8 ahead with 30 games to go in this season. Are you believing? Are you believing? Fan club. Chris Welsh rocks. I like it. I like it a lot. Did you grow up with him?
Thank you, Uncle. They got the brooms out. Young man playing the broom down there.
And about Joey Votto? Reds went the first 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs. In this inning alone, they have 4 hits and 4 runs. 2 on, nobody, or 1 out. Votto wanted to pull the trigger there. Why not cap off a homestand and a big night with a 3-run big fly to get 100 RBIs? Right here and right now. And again, the pinch hit, 3-run home run to give the Reds this 3-run lead, and they're looking for more. Zach Braddock on to face Votto. And the 1-1 pitch. Way inside with a fastball, 2 balls and a strike. Braddock was pretty impressive here the other night, the opening game of the series.
Got a good arm, reminded me a lot of Bill Bray, where he's got a live fastball, nice breaking ball. Real live fastball.
Breaking ball chopped foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 to count on Votto with 2 on and 1 out. Braddock a check of the runners. And now to the plate. Ball 3.
Really trying to overthrow that pitch, you know, and that's natural too. You face a guy that is as good and as hot as Joey Votto, and you think you've got to come up with a super pitch. Braddock probably sitting down in the bullpen watching Aroldis Chapman throw 104. And he's grunting and groaning to try to get it to 94.
And now Votto digging in, 3-2 count. Oh, a hearty rip. Fouled back to the screen. Two major leaguers already have knocked in 100 or more runs. Miguel Cabrera of Detroit, Jose Bautista of Toronto. Votto one mighty crack of the bat away from becoming the first national leaguer to do it. Instead, he draws a walk. Since going to his bullpen, Braddock, the 3rd pitcher to come on in relief of Narveson in this inning. And not one of the 3 has retired a batter yet. Scotty Rowland with the bases loaded. He's doubled, been hit by a pitch, and struck out. Rowland faced Braddock here on Monday night, drew a walk. Stubbs a runner at third. Chris Heisey at second. Joey Votto at first. The Reds leading by 3 and trying to tack on here in the 7th. Rolen has already had words with the home plate umpire AT CIN tonight over a called strike in his at bat in the 6th inning. In the dirt, smothered nicely by Luke Roy. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Rolen. One and 2 to Rolen, and Braddock ready. Shot into right field, a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Heisey. And Hart bobbled the ball. 2 runs will score on a base hit by Rolen. And the Reds are rolling. A 6-run 7th inning. And they're rolling to an 8-game lead in the Central Division.
You can't say it any better than that, Tom. They are rolling and rolling right along. Opposite field base hit, drives a couple in, or drives 1 in. And Brewers relievers are still trying to find an out in this inning. They did get a couple. They're scoring so fast they can't keep up. I kind of like it.
8 consecutive Reds have reached base since Johnny Gomes led off this inning, with the Reds trailing 1-0 by striking out. That's the way the 7th inning began. Narveson struck out Gomes. He walked Hernandez. That was it. In came Coffey. Game tying double by Cairo. Infield hit by Yanish. Pinch hit 3-run home run by Hannigan. 4-1 lead. In came McClendon, walked to Stubbs, hit by Heisey. In came Braddock, walked to Votto, 2-run single, and now a liner to left caught by Ryan Braun for the 2nd out of the inning. And now a pinch hitter will be brought on. Brandon Phillips, you may remember, ran for Ramon Hernandez, and this will be the #1 pick from 2 years ago, Yonder Alonso. Alonso got off to a terrible start down at AAA Louisville this year, but man, oh man, did he come on. He is a 10th Reds player this year to make his major league debut. Well, you talk to scouts and watch this guy play, and they'll talk from now till tomorrow about what kind of hitter they think he will be. Remember, he started the year in AA Carolina, and that's where he got off to the really poor start. So his overall numbers this year are 15 home runs and 72 RBIs. An excuse me swing, and he's out in his first big league at bat. But Ryan Hannigan off the bench, 3-run home run in a 6-run 7th. Aroldis Chapman down the stretch. The Reds, Chris, have to feel like they have very much are in the comfort zone.
You know, he kind of changed the energy of this ball game, Tom. When he came in here, everybody who was kind of sitting back watching Chris Narveson mow the Reds down all of a sudden came to their feet. The energy began to change. He wiped right through that Brewers order, 1, 2, 3. And when he was done in 2 ball games, he's given up nothing except 3 punch-outs. And the Reds come back and score a 6 spot in the bottom of the inning to make him the pitcher of record right now. If Nick Masson and the rest of the bullpen crew can do their job and hold a 5-run lead. Ryan Hannigan, who had an upper deck shot, 3-run bomb, is going behind the plate. Game number 69 for Masson.
Joe England going to come on and pinch hit for Braddock. Five runs allowed by 2 pitchers out of that Milwaukee bullpen, and neither one retired a batter. Coffey faced 3, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. McClendon faced 2, gave up a walk and a hit and 2 runs. And Braddock in 2/3 of an inning allows a hit and a walk. So Aroldis Chapman, after all the offensive firepower in a 6-run 7th inning, is now in line for his first major league win. Oh, and 2 to England. See you later.
Nasty. You know, sometimes when Nick Masson pitches, you're not sure what the pitch is, whether that is a splitter or whether that's a curveball. But boy, all we know is that baby drops right off the table. That's a curveball. Man, oh man, is that a hammer. Well, his appearance tonight, Nick Masson, tied for the lead in games appeared in this year.
You know, the Reds would like to slow down the pace some of these guys have. We've already seen it with Arthur Rhodes. I mean, tonight would have been the kind of game you certainly would have seen him in the 7th inning with a team down 1-0. But they're backing off on him a little bit. I would imagine, you know, after you get through this weekend in St. Louis, depending upon how it goes, you know, maybe you take your foot off the throttle a little bit with some of those guys that have been worked and ridden pretty hard for maybe about a week to 10 days before you rev it right back up one more time for the final, 2 weeks of the year.
Well, Masson's had a day off since the last time he pitched, and he pitched an inning in 2/3 in the first game of the series, but he only threw 12 pitches. And that's where you walk the fine line, you know, of keeping the guy sharp, but yet giving him enough rest. What you want to make sure of, though, is that obviously you're going to have adrenaline late in the year. If you get in the playoffs, adrenaline flows big time. But you want to make sure that when they do reach back for something extra, there is something there. Something there tonight. 95 on the black. Get that little number 7 detail brush out. Paint it.
Two and 2 to count on Ricky Weeks. Off the end of the bat. Coming in hard and running it down to Stubbs for out number 2. Masson threw a total of 76 innings last year in 74 appearances. But of course, he had a trip to the disabled list last year. I mean, he had just an absolutely spectacular season last year. A very strong argument could have made that Masson was the best setup man in the league last season. You may remember what happened was he got off to the incredible start. He didn't tell anybody he was hurt. And he went through like a 10-game stretch where he gave up runs in 7 of them. And everybody wondered, what in the world has happened to Nick Masson? Then you find out he's hurt. He goes on the disabled list. And once he got healthy and came back again, in his last 30 appearances of the year, his ERA was 1.04. He was the same guy we saw before he got hurt.
Yeah, another guy, though, Tom, that originally was a starter in the minor leagues with the White Sox was a starter. Came over here, really wanted to be a starter. But what happened was that you switch him to short relief, and all of a sudden that fastball goes from 91 to 96.
Foul ground, rolling in a 1-2-3-8 for Massey. Reds back bottom of the 8th, leading 6-1. John Morrell hot dog play of the game every night.
I mean, you get so used to seeing Scott Rowland picking like this, it's almost average, but it's far from it. I mean, he just makes it look so automatic down there. And you know what, Tom? The defense that the Reds have thrown on the opposition this year have made this pitching staff so much better. I mean, fewer pitches thrown, fewer times pitching out of the stretch. I mean, you got guys like Roland and Cabrera and Giannis and across the infield. Brandon Phillips is a highlight reel waiting to happen.
Yep.
Votto's made some great plays, like the miracle play he made last night. I mean, you slap defense on him like that, and it just saves so much on your pitching staff.
Well, just brought up with the rosters expanding all the way from AA Huntsville is right-hander Jeremy Jeffress.
Scott throws about 100 miles an hour, too.
And this is his major league debut.
They're going to throw that ball out just like they did Aroldis Chapman. That's how ballyhooed he is as a prospect. Difference, however, is that Jeffress has had some problems. He's been suspended several times.
Hey, we talked about him a lot already tonight, but again, a reminder. The Columbus Blue Jackets 6-game packs are on sale right now, starting at $123. Buy your pack at BlueJackets.com. We had a nice visit tonight with Scott Arniel, the first-year head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Very, very nice fellow. We wish him good luck this year. Chris mentioned Jeffress, originally a first-round draft choice back in 2006, 16th pick overall. got suspended for 100 games by Major League Baseball midway through last year for violating the minor league drug treatment and prevention program, was reinstated on May the 21st this year, rehabbed in Arizona until the transfer to Wisconsin on June the 9th. That's where their Class A team is. He didn't give up a run or a hit in 5 games. Then went to Brevard County, pitched in 8 games there. Then to Double-A, 11 games there. And then brought up to the big leagues tonight. Double play ball here off the bat of Giannis. 2 gone. Jeffers a starter up until this year. They drafted him out of Halifax County, Virginia, and was a starter in 06, 07, 08, and 09. But this year, when he came back, they moved him to the bullpen.
Well, he's not a particularly big guy. He's only 6 feet 1 inch, but he is a very stout young man, and he's got a very good arm. He has been clocked at 100 miles an hour several times and hit over that several times in his minor league career. He's on thin ice, though. He has been suspended 3 times, Tom, not just the 2 times. The first time for 50 games, second time for 100 games, then 100 games. So he is 1 suspension away from being banned for life.
Well, you wish him well. Yes, he's able to get it together. A 1-0 game this one was through the first 6.5 innings of play. Chris Narveson dominated the Reds, only allowing a couple of base hits, but the Reds scored 6 in the bottom of the 7th. And that's a lead at 6-1 as we go to the 9th.
The most comprehensive highlights, exclusive interviews with players and Dusty Baker before anyone else. So tonight we preview the big weekend in St. Louis. We review the night tonight, second night of Aroldis Chapman. That's Reds Live, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Jim Day and Jeff Piccolo bringing it to you. Brandon Phillips scored a big run tonight, and Francisco Cordero comes in to finish off the Brewers in the top of the 9th inning. A 5-run lead to protect. Middle of the order for the Brewers. Ryan Braun will lead it off.
Cordero. One more tune-up. You know, look, the Reds might have, and all they need is 3 outs for an 8-game lead in a division. But you want to go in there and play well this weekend. I mean, people would say, yeah, you get swept. You're only 5 games. You're still 5. You know, forget that thinking. That's nonsense. You want to go in there and play like a division champion plays against a rival. And hopefully the Reds can find a way to play a lot better than the last time they played against St. Louis, because that was 3 games of dominance.
Well, they can certainly go in there and play much more relaxed. And I think they played a very tight series. But the bottom line is on that series that the Cardinals threw pitching at the Reds that they simply couldn't handle. And maybe they were a little tight. Maybe they tried too hard. Maybe they thought there was too much pressure on them at the time. But they certainly have taken command of the division in the meantime. And you go in there and you play like pros. I think that's the way you go about it.
So 1 away, and now Prince Fielder. One and 0 to Fielder. And it's hit off the end of the bat, fouled, even to count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The Reds still have a pair of series against this Milwaukee Brewers team. 3 of them here. The final 3 games of the regular season, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And the Reds will go to Milwaukee, not on this upcoming road trip, but on their final trip. That final trip will start in Houston, then go to Milwaukee, and then fly after a night game all the way out to San Diego, where the Reds will have an off day on that Thursday before a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against the Padres. Lined into left field, but Gomes is standing there to get it. And the Reds an out away from a 3-game sweep. I'm not sure anybody would have believed it if you'd have said 3 weeks ago today the Reds are going to take and have an 8-game Central Division lead over St. Louis. After the Cardinals left town following the 3-game sweep and a 1-game lead. You couldn't have sold that script in Hollywood. Nobody would have bought it.
I mean, what kind of odds could you have gotten from your buddies? Just sitting around coming out of spring training saying, I bet the Reds will have an 8-game lead on September 1st. I mean, after they stop laughing, what do you think the kind of odds they would give you?
You'd have been in line for some major league lead.
Well, there are a lot of believers now, and there's plenty of room on the bandwagon.
Oh, and 2 to McGee. Just low.
Bring him up on principle.
Base hit into center field by McGee will keep the 9th inning alive. And give Lorenzo Cain one more chance tonight. 1 for 3 on an infield hit and scored the only Brewers run in the 5th inning when the pitcher Narveson knocked him in. ball, and this will do it. The Reds cap off a 5-1 homestand with a 3-game sweep over the Milwaukee Brewers. The 8th series sweep for Cincinnati this year, which is tied for most in the National League. But far more importantly than anything else, at the end of play on this first day in the month of September, the Reds sit atop the National League Central, 8 full games ahead of second place St. Louis.
A team win. Coming from behind, Johnny Cueto pitched a fine game for 6 innings. But this ball club came behind, and a monstrous home run by Ryan Hannigan set the tone. Played great defense. A 3-game sweep before the Reds hit the road for St. Louis and then Colorado. Stay tuned. A lot more fun baseball coming up.
Aroldis Chapman, his first major league win tonight in a 6-1 Reds win.